Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Roadroo.com with your morning horn is the easiest sip of chocolate coffee. I'm looking around for my coffee. I am off site at the moment. Not in my bunker. Won't be in my bunker until September. No. Silver market, really interesting. Ted Butler put out an article, Code Red, posted July 16th. Ted, out of anybody, is probably the most absolutely the most knowledgeable about the market structure. And remember, it was Rustam Benham, the head of the CFTC, that said, in order to rig the silver market, it was the market structure that was able to rig the silver market below $30. And the guy who knows absolutely everything about that market structure is Ted Butler. Commitment of Traders, Bank Participation Report, you name it, he's been living and breathing it since the mid-'80s. Now, the moment you think you're tired of silver manipulation, just think how long Ted has been doing this. But something massive happened Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right after the close. Now remember, this is all a game. This is all a fraud. The United States of America economic system is 100% a fraud. Every single market is 100% computer controlled and has been since the 70s. Since Alan Greenspan invented the first computer programs to create our financial banking system. Yes, he blamed himself for Y2K because he only put 2 digits instead of 4, the idiot. No, he's not an idiot. Is he a patriot? I don't know. Is he a criminal? I don't know. A lot of these people skirt the line. On one hand, the United States of America wouldn't be where we are with all these houses built everywhere and the military and everything if we stayed on a gold standard. Probably a lot of the industrial production definitely wouldn't be where it is today. But at the same time, it puts, because the silver price has been rigged for so long, all this silver was introduced into a electronically controlled manufacturing process, and all the devices we use, everything uses silver because it's the best conductor of electricity. The difference between ending the silver rigging in the early 1900s and today is that we are 100% reliant upon silver in almost everything we do. Power generation, every part of power generation too. Don't forget, anything computer controlled needs silver. So it's not just solar panels and switching stations and wind farms. Yes, even wind farms use silver in the components that make up all the computer parts to everything, literally everything. So it is much different ending silver manipulation today versus what it was in the early 1900s when, or even the 1850s when the UK, or at the time England, started rigging the silver market. That's about how far I trace it back. You can keep going back, and I'm sure many civilizations before us have rigged markets, and after us. Seems to be a human nature to lie, cheat, and steal, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, the problem with the regulators is that they give us a false sense of confidence that these markets are real. You don't live in a world of free markets. You don't live in a world that has anything fair in trading on any exchange. I don't care if it's gold and silver, stocks and bonds, U.S. dollar, your bank account. No, the bank does not have your money, and first one to get it out wins. It's a Wonderful Life story. The real smart people in It's a Wonderful Life had already gotten their money out of the bank when the banks collapsed. So just keep that in mind as we go down this road. All right. Silver is still at $24.80, same place it was in 1979. I know, right? Is that the craziest thing ever? How much money has been created in the last 54 years? A lot. How many versions of money? Not just U.S. dollars. I mean, silver is a global commodity, right? So how many yuan have been created? How many euros have been created? Or pounds before that? How many versions of unbacked fiat money have been created, including derivatives? How many derivatives have been created? How many stocks and bonds and like corporate bonds real estate bonds, you name it, it all contributes to the ocean of fake value that's out there compared to the things of real value. Standalone assets, gold and silver, great examples. Long history of being standalone assets, and I hope everybody understands that they're standalone assets. And if anybody holds your gold and silver, they are not standalone assets. That you won't get them. You won't benefit from what's about to happen. And then the invention of cryptocurrencies in 2008, 2009. Yeah, digital scarcity. It took me a while to figure out how that could be a standalone asset, but it is absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's a much better standalone asset. Bitcoin's a much better standalone asset than gold or silver because you know how many Bitcoin there will ever be. 21 million. Now, yes, there are different versions of Bitcoin and everything branched off from there. But just as a standalone asset, you know how many Bitcoin. Now, I do think there's other cryptos that have been invented since Bitcoin came about that will do better in the long run. And we need more than Bitcoin. Bitcoin pretty much is just about, the only thing it's good for is store value. And the Bitcoin core developers, run by the Digital Currency Group, by the way, wanted it that way. So you got it. So all those big bankers, I know what, I am gutsy enough to get into the crypto market. I'm going to buy Bitcoin, but everything else is shit. If you ever hear people, the Bitcoin evangelists, the people who say it's Bitcoin or nothing, they're too afraid. It took them too much to believe in Bitcoin for them to believe that there are things better than Bitcoin in the crypto world. But anyway, just back to Bitcoin. Yeah, it is if you hold your crypto in your own possession, it's a standalone asset. Bitcoin. The other thing about Bitcoin, remember, not only is it pretty useless as anything else other than a store of value, that's all it can ever be, because you can't have side chains because it's violating the Reggie Middleton patent. Just keep that in mind. If the future has anything to do with regulation, there is a reason, a big reason, why the U.S. government took down Reggie Middleton and froze his Veritasium tokens and told Reggie Middleton he's not allowed to participate in the crypto world anymore. I mean, this is so far beyond anything they did to like XRP or EOS or any other, or even the fraud cryptos. So far beyond. Yeah. And then they turn around and give him the patent for peer-to-peer transactions using cryptocurrencies. Yeah. So swaps, anything outside of a blockchain that is standalone blockchain, a regular, like a Bitcoin type. Theta is a good example, but the other parts of Theta are probably in violation of the Reggie Middleton patent, such as all of it. All of it. All the cryptos that go outside of a main blockchain, just having the blockchain to use for a certain purpose, is probably in violation of the patent. Now, will they revoke the patent? Will they say, it's too broad? At the time, it wasn't too broad. 2014, when Reggie filed for the patent for peer-to-peer transactions, really, using swaps in cryptocurrency exchanges, using side chains and things like that. That's all subject to the patent. He describes it all in the patent. So, yeah. And how can you benefit off it? I don't know. If the government decides to give Reggie back his 98 million Veritasium tokens, remember, it's not the token that is at issue here. The token can be worthless or worth something. If Reggie has it in his possession, he can make it worthless or worth something. That's a problem with supply and demand of the Veritasium token. But the token really has nothing to do with the underlying technology that he got a patent for, because Reggie what he said, he's going to allow people who currently own Veritasium to get a discount. And I don't know how that would work, but basically, the world looking forward is very complicated. Very complicated. And if the bad guys want control, or the good guys want to control the system because people are too crazy, as the crypto viewing guys just did a remote viewing of Gary Gensler, and they were talking about the animal spirits of human beings. is trying to be tamed by Gary Gensler and what he's doing. In case you didn't know, Gary Gensler instigated, allowed the DeFi bubble to happen, and then crashed it and destroyed it in order that the big money can get in on the ground floor, as opposed to you and I. Unless you're a hodler, you've probably run away from cryptos already, and all your friends have run away. And they'll come back as soon as the banks get enough, and they think, oh, we can't get any more until we get other people in it. That's the kind of thing that Gary Gensler has fostered and has created and did successfully, at least so far. Anyway, so yeah, cryptos will be fine in the long run, but in the short run, you want silver in your possession. Just get it. Just get it. So we're looking at, for silver, if you look at the chart of silver, this is what's about to be broken free. Now remember, why does this chart look like this? First of all, in 1980, the intraday trading was way up at around $50, whereas it only stayed there briefly and then came down intraday and then settle out around low 40s type of thing. So it doesn't, although they both went to right just short of 50, nobody's hit 50, I don't think. That's where these manipulations were stopped and then reversed in order to create an artificial bear market, which it works. Look, when they did in 1980, the bear market went on until right in here, until around the year 2000. That was an artificial bear market created by Paul Volcker and friends and Alan Greenspan in rigging the silver price. This right here, this created, so we had a bull market from about 2000 all the way up to 2011, and it was in 2011 that Jamie Dimon and a guy named Bill Daley implemented the rise of silver to $50 to slam it down to create the next artificial bear market, which it wasn't as good because there's more information available. But it was pretty good, got a lot of people, destroyed a lot of lives. Nice job, Jamie. You pedophile. That's a different story. Actually, it's the same story. It's just on a different channel. So yeah, and we are about to break through of that. When we break over $30, I think we're going to see a mad dash to 50. And if silver is able to break 50, then it's anybody's guess as to where the price of silver will go. I stopped looking at the price of silver at that moment in time because for various reasons. Number one, there won't be a market open. These banks can't take a $300 million hit every time silver goes up $1. It's just, and they can't close out their shorts. So it'll be interesting what happens as we, number one, pass $30 and number two, pass $50. The $30 number I think will be breached maybe July, probably August, whereas we get to $50 in September. And if that's breached, I start looking at the gold-silver ratio going back to, I think the first stop will probably be 30-1, and that'll be brief, and then it'll go down to 16-1, which is like a historical number, and then everybody will figure out, oh my God, there's not physical silver at 16-1, it's 1-1, but it's coming out of the ground at 7-1, so it'll go to 7-1, and then people will say, oh my God, not only is it coming out of the ground at 7-1, but 60% of all the silver is actually being consumed on the industrial side, so it's really not 7-1, it's more like 3-1. And then after they get over the 3-1, they'll say, oh my God, maybe it really is going 1-1, the amount of physical above and below the ground in official numbers. And then revelations about all the gold that is all over the world, secret gold, so there's more than 200,000 tons, there's more like 2 million tons, 10 times as much. When that revelation comes out, we'll see silver priced at 1 to 10 is my estimate. And at 1 to 10, I might buy a little gold. 1 to 10, yes, 1 ounce of silver buys you 10 ounces gold. And it's not because gold is going down so much. It's just not rising at the pace and isn't needed at the frantic pace that silver is needed and is going up. So yes, I do see silver in the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range within the next couple of years. Can you hodl for that? I think most people can. But again, the world will be very different. Anyway, so Ted put out a code red. You can go see that at SilverSeek, and it all has to do with the last 3 trading days. Somebody bought over 100 million ounces of silver on the COMEX contracts. He thinks it's a single entity, which it could be. And I would say it would probably be 3 or 4 entities that are working together. Call them the good guys, and don't worry about collusion. That's not the issue. Remember, the bad guys have been colluding forever, so I don't have a problem with the good guys colluding. But yeah, it is his code red is to the CFTC. Now the CFTC will never do anything on their own. They march to the beat of a drummer called the globalist banking system, and they always have, and they always will, and they're too stupid or too corrupt to do anything different. Now let's talk about that. So Ted's saying, hey, we have a massive addition to the open interest in silver. Something huge is happening akin to what the Hunt brothers did. What is the CFTC going to do about it? Now, remember, the CFTC would love to slam the prices down. If the prices go up, they pull out, oh, that's illegal, like they did with the Hunt brothers. Crash down like oil. Who went to jail when oil went to minus $40? Nobody. They like it. They like their bosses, the bosses of the regulators, which is not Janet Yellen. You got to go to the banking system and the Fed. Those are the bosses of the regulators. They do what they're told. So Ted says, massive problems. What are you guys doing about it? And this is in direct contrast to what our friends over at Kitco. If you guys listen to Kitco, Kitco is right in there with the bad guys, except they're as dumb as Jeffrey Christian. That's the problem. And here's this guy, Nels Christensen. Okay, how much work have I done on the Silver Eagle conspiracy over at the U.S. Mint? I mean, it's not even a conspiracy. It's a fact that they are artificially suppressing the amount of Silver Eagles sold. But this moron says U.S. Mint and the Perth Mint see mixed demand for gold and silver bullion in the first half of 2023. And he talks about gold and some supply-demand factors. But listen to what he says about silver, which is kind of insane. While gold demand has been relatively lackluster, silver demand has been downright dismal. Really, we have the most metal leaving warehouses in history. And that's where most of the metal goes. And why are you calling it dismal demand? And here's what he says. The U.S. Mint said it sold nearly 1.5 million ounces of 1 ounce American Eagle coins, down 7% from last month, but up 60% from last year. In the first half of 2023, the Mint sold 9.7 million ounces of silver, down 9% compared to the first 6 months of 2022. Why? What does that have to do with any kind of silver demand? That's a supply issue. The U.S. Mint is purposefully supplying 1/10 of what the demand is, and that's why you see Silver Eagle premiums through the roof. And that's why if you go to roadtoruda.com, if this guy Nels goes to roadtoruda.com, he can hear a great discussion about this with the guy in charge of the Silver Eagle program, who was told by his boss, Ventris Gibson, not to make Silver Eagles at all. And he fought for it. He's like, what are you talking about? This is as soon as she came on as the director of the Mint. And he says, we can't do that. And she says, okay, what's the minimum amount you can make? If you have read the Silver Eagle law, this is completely illegal and these people belong in jail. And she takes her marching orders from Janet Yellen and probably from Jerome Powell. Definitely not from Biden, because Biden can't, he's too busy sniffing on little girls. I know. That's part of this thing too. And that's coming to a head. If you're on the private road, we talk a lot about that because I can't talk about it on YouTube. But, so now let's go over to roadtoruda.com, ROADTOROOTA. Might as well put your name and email so you can get updates and stay kind of in the loop with what's going on in this industry you work for. And read the 3-part interview. It talks exactly about what you're saying. And it is not what you portray it to be. It is not that silver demand has been downright dismal. That is a lie. We need some truth in reporting. It has not been downright dismal. The Silver Eagle supply has been artificially downright dismal. Absolutely. the U.S. Mint has been instructed not to make U.S. Eagles. I know it leaves you scratching your head, Nels, but hey, if you're going to say that the Silver Eagle demand has been dismal, I mean, just look at the premiums on Silver Eagles. You're paying double for an Eagle almost. And then if you just lift a little bit under the hood, you're going to find out this is a massive, massive illegal operation to take silver out of circulation. Silver Eagles, the number one, used to be the most popular coin in the world. The U.S. Mint, by law, is required to sell Silver Eagles at $2.50 over spot. To the people, too. And go listen, Jack Zimmerman, go listen to the discussion I had with him at the U.S. Mint. Because they are not doing it. And matter of fact, they're charging a 50-cent profit. I know we have to pay, $12, $13, $14, $15 over spot to get an Eagle, and that's illegal, by the way, beyond illegal. I hope this gets to what's his face. Now, I'm not a fan of Kitco at all. They're part of the rigging operation with their leasing program. If you lease or have any of their pooled programs with the Kitco, good luck to you. If they hold your metal at all, good luck to you. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, everybody should listen to that interview and sign up for the free email updates. Name and email address right in there at roadrooter.com. Here's what's going on, and here's one of the ways that it is manifesting. This exchange for physical thing. This is when you take a COMEX contract and you transfer it over to a futures contract in London and take delivery of it. Now, it is the beginning of this month of July. It was barely doing anything. I was kind of scratching my head. What the hell? I mean, is anything happening? And all of a sudden, it exploded. This equates to, let's see, that's 15 million plus 17,500,000 ounces just on Friday. Just on Friday. Imagine a delivery day of mid-July of 17 million ounces of silver. That just happened. It just didn't happen on the COMEX. It happened in London. At that, and if you don't think that's a true thing, if you look at the London clearing data, every single day. Now, I don't believe these numbers at all. I think they're liars, cheaters, and stealers over at the LBMA because they don't even call themselves an exchange. But you look at the average monthly daily transfers, it's like 250 to 300 million ounces every single day are physically transferred, which is ridiculous. And oh, by the way, the head of JP Morgan LBMA a long time ago said it's even bigger than that because these are net transfers. So they take the transfers and the deliveries and things like that, and they net it all for intraday trading. He said the actual number is 3 times this. So they're really trading every ounce that's mined out of the ground gets physically transferred in a year, which is 800 million, gets physically transferred on the LBMA every day. No wonder nobody believes in what the LBMA is doing at all. At all. All right. So how can you keep track of this? You can go to CME Group and go to the silver data on the COMEX, and it's all right here. And right here is the EFP, Exchange for Physical. An exchange for physical trade is a privately negotiated and simultaneous exchange of a futures position for a cash position. Now, what that entails is a futures position on the COMEX, and the cash position is a cash position in the LBMA, which is deliverable silver. So that's where it is. They can call it what they want, and we see the metal just getting blown out in London. And another thing on that, Harvey Organ keeps great track of it. So in June, they did 110 million ounces that way, exchange for physicals. July, they almost did nothing in July the first 2 weeks. And I'm like, what's going on? If you watch me every day. This is as of Thursday's 38, and it just jumped to 55 million in those 3 or 4 days right there in last week that Ted Butler's talking about. Something is happening definitely happening in the physical silver market and the derivative silver market, which is 100 times what the physical silver market is. So keep an eye on it. And there was an emergency meeting announced. They didn't call it an emergency. On June 30th, from the CFTC, 128 members of the in total constitute the largest ever single advisory committee initiative sponsored by the CFTC. CFTC is panicking. They had to get 128 different cabal companies who are knee deep in this bullshit, to get together and say, help me, help me, help me. You guys tell me what to do. I can't tell you what to do. So it's Caroline Pham, who is the Citibank employee of the CFTC, and there's a JP Morgan employee of the CFTC too. She's in charge of this one, the Global Markets Advisory Committee. And the good thing about it, the CFTC, they know, you can see who it is. You can actually see who it is. Because on July 10th, opening statement of Commissioner Pham before the Market Risk Advisory Committee. So they had this massive meeting, and check out who this committee is composed of. How many silver riggers, how many gold riggers, how many criminals are in? This is a list of people who will go to jail, in my opinion, when the banking system falls apart. Chris Allen of HSBC, Bill Bolton of BP, Chamber of Digital Commerce, don't know what that is. D.E. Shaw, big trader up in Canada. Citadel, we all heard of Citadel, GameStop stuff. The DTCC, I've done massive research on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation and that criminality. By the way, the DTCC controls 100% of every asset out there on the derivative side. And they own your house. They own your stock market. They own the deed to your car, unless it's in your own possession. Because they control Seed & Company. Seed & Company is the legal name, or the street name, of almost every house mortgage-backed security on the planet. And, oh, by the way, their vault got flooded during Hurricane Sandy and then caught on fire. All the paper, bond certificates, all that. They don't talk about that in normal day stuff. I don't see JP Morgan. Where are they? Eurex, Commodity Markets Council. Trade with BlackRock. Of course, BlackRock is there. Virtu Financial, there they are. Andrew Smith, he'll be in jail in a year or maybe 6 months. Virtu Financial, run by Vinny Viola. Vinny Viola is the Bernie Madoff counterpart. He's still out there doing his fake trading, so keep an eye on Virtu Financial. And then there's Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. Brad Tully, you are in trouble for being on this. I don't know. Anybody on this committee, your name is up in lights as far as who we're going to arrest. For market rigging, for participating in the destruction of the old system. Bank of New York, Mellon, Fidelity, and then they have subcommittees to the committees. And this is the same committee. This is just a subcommittee of the same thing. Barclays, BlackRock, BNY, Cargill, Citadel. It's like the same. Goldman Sachs, HSBC, JP Morgan Chase. There's Tully again. So not only is Tully on the main committee, but he's also on the subcommittee. We got to look into this Brian Tully. Maybe I'll do a Ginny Moonstone dive on this guy. But it's not Brian, it's Brandy Tully. Brandy Tully. Well, I'll do that research later. Brandy Tully. And there's Digital Assets Subcommittee, another subcommittee. Let's see who JP Morgan Chase is ponying up. Does Brandy Tully have enough? No, they moved to Scott Lucas, head of DLT. Direct ledger transfer or something like technology, I think. Digital ledger technology. So that's Scott Lucas is the JP Morgan guy who's running their crypto stuff. And any more committees? Nope, that's it. Insane, right? So all these people are telling Miss Pham what to do, how to do it, and where to do it. Caroline Pham. And the regulator. That's their job. Tell the regulator, here's what you have to do. Don't you dare bust JP Morgan for rigging the silver markets. Oh, yeah, it's still going on. And again, really interesting. Europe's first spot Bitcoin ETF eyes 2023 debut after a year-long delay. So after they Europe and America deny all these ETFs for Bitcoin, all of a sudden BlackRock can start one and these guys can start one after everybody was destroyed in the last bullshit. Thank you, Gary Gensler. You're doing a good job out there, rigging markets, picking winners or losers. I don't think you're going to stay out of jail after this one. But we'll find out, right? Place your bets. That's what I like to say, especially with cryptos. Place your bets. I mean, some people believe in Bitcoin. Some people believe in Litecoin more. I do. Some people believe in Theta. I think Theta was going to rule the world very soon. And some people believe in XRP, the banker crypto. Fine, place your bets. We're going to see who's right one day. Place your bets. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Place your bets. That's what I got for you today. Again, go to roadtorow.com and get on our mailing list and listen to this 3-part interview with Jack Sermon, the head of U.S. Mint Silver Eagle Sales. And what he says will shock you. And then you can write this guy a letter, Nils Christensen, and say, are you as dumb as you wrote? Are you really that dumb to think that demand is not there for Silver Eagles? Maybe he just miswrote what he thought. I don't know. I don't know what which side of the bed this guy got off on these days, but you can't have no demand with a $15 premium, 50% premium on Silver Eagles and more. And if all you had to do is listen to my 3-part series on the U.S. Mint with my discussion from the head of the Mint, and he tells you exactly what's going on with Silver Eagle demand. It's time to wake up the media. The media is crazy. So that's your job. Your homework is to read the Ted Butler article on Silver Sea called Code Red. And it could go either way. I mean, for every long, there's a short. So 100 million long means someone had to take a 100 million ounce short. Could it blow up in their face, or is it JP Morgan with the help of the U.S. government pulls the plug under the silver investors once again? I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is if you have physical silver in your own possession, that's the best way to go by far. Go to your local silver shop or call up my guy, Andy Scheckman. Send him an email, info at milesfranklin.com. Buy what he's got in inventory because we don't know how much time we have left while you can still get silver. Silver will become unobtainium at some point. Cliff, I don't know if Cliff created that word. I love that word. But Cliff had talked about it a while, many years ago in his reports, that silver will become unobtainium, meaning it doesn't matter what price, how much money you have, you won't be able to get your hands on any silver, at least for a while. So go check it out. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.